Today is, mashallah, beautiful lesson. الدرس السابع والعشرون. Amazing lesson. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن اتبع هداه. أما بعد. الدرس السابع والعشرون. هذا الدرس درس
He started.
وهو الدرس الذي عفوا some interference coming in someone's mic. Let's just control the mics, inshallah. There's a couple of microphones which are on. It's probably better not to keep the microphones like permanently on. I just use them as per need. And, that way that saves the interference coming through. The mic is not turning off. Is there a reason? Hey, Bilal, it was your mic. I couldn't turn it off. I've given you mic again, but better just to switch it on and off. Yeah, keep it off with Bilal until it's time to talk, inshallah. Is that okay? Can you hear us, Bilal? I think there's definitely some technical issues with Bilal's mic. طيب, Bismillah, as we were saying, this dars, السابع والعشرون, is very interesting because it introduces a couple of more patterns of the verbs that we were previously talking about. Now, Abu Maymoon said he can't hear us. Is my mic on mute or something?
I can hear you, Ustad.
You can hear me, okay. So, because Abu Maymoon saying it's quiet, I'm wondering maybe there's an issue going on. I'm going to go to a blank screen. Let's take the whiteboard. Now, we have been speaking about al-fi'l al-mu'tal al-fa'. Okay, mu'tal al-fa'. Mu'tal al-fa'. We said that any word that you have, generally speaking, if it's three letters, then we say that the first letter is known as the fa of the kalima, fa'ul kalima. And the second letter is known as ainul kalima. And the third letter is known as lam al kalima. Okay? Now, if any of these three letters has a harfu illa, huruf al-illa. If it has any of these three letters, alif, waw, ya, okay, then that they are known as any of these three letters, whether it's the fa of the kalima, or the ain of the kalima, or the lam of the kalima. If any of these three, alif or waw or ya, are in that position, then this is called al-fi'l al-mu'tal. Al-fi'l al-mu'tal. A verb that has an aspect of weakness, a weakness. الفعل المعتل means a verb that has an aspect of weakness to it. Where is the weakness coming from? It's coming from the presence of the harf illah. Is that clear? Coming from the presence of the harf illah. جيد. Now, الأفعال المعتلة, okay, there's more than one type. One of them we already took, and that was الفعل معتل الفاء. معتل الفاء. And the معتل الفاء, what is it? There's a name for it. What's it called?
مثال. Is it مثال?
مثال. جيد. So that's the معتل الفاء. Today in the درس السابع والعشرون we're going to be dealing with معتل العين. معتل العين. And the معتل العين has a name. We mentioned it previously and some of you may already know it. It's called, anyone?
أجوف.
أحسنت. أجوف. أجوف. And basically it means that this middle letter has got either an alif or a waw or a ya. And then you have the harf, then you have the fi'l, which is معتل الياء. And that basically refers to when the last letter of the word is harf illah. Okay? Now, there are also a couple of other cases. And that is when you have two letters, which are both harf illah. Okay? معتل في موضعين. It's معتل in two places. معتل في موضعين. This is not the official name for it. Okay? The official name, I can't remember it right now. معتل في موضع, meaning it's got a harf illah in more than one place. And then you have another type of a fi'l is when there is a hamza. When there is a hamza in one of the three positions, either in the fa, in the ain, or in the lam of the kalima. If there is a hamza here, for example, akala, or there is a hamza in the middle, for example, fa'ala, with a hamza which is from having good opinion and good thoughts, being optimistic, fa'lun, or whether the hamza is at the end, for example, ja'a. Okay, the hamza is moving in its place, either in the fa of the kalima, or in the ain of the kalima, or on the lam of the kalima. And this type of verb is called, anyone know it? Al-mahmuz. Al-mahmuz. It basically means that there's a hamza in there somewhere. And you can notice that the word, you got this letter ha, mim, and zai. These are hams from the same word of hamza. Okay? So al-mahmuz is the fi'l that has a hamza in it. And it can be mahmuz al-fa, mahmuz al-ain, mahmuz al-lam, depending on where the hamza is. So just as previously we dealt with the mu'tal al-fa, and we learned some very interesting things. Because we said, for example, can somebody give me an example of mu'tal al-fa, please?
وهب.
أحسنت. وهب. جيد. And we have an example in the text, وجد. وهب. And then we said that this originally would have been يوهب, because فعل يفعل. Okay, but يوهب is difficult to say. So then the Arabs, what they would do, they removed this waw and said yahibu, wahaba, yahabu. That's my mistake. That shouldn't be yohibu, it should be yohabu, because this verb is that one that has got a fatha on the ain of the kalima. So they said, rather than saying yohibu, we say yahabu. That's what they said. And then when you wanted to make fi'l amr, put the sukoon on the end, remove that harf al-mudari', and there's no need for hamzat al-wasl. You just say hab, because it works, and it means gift. Jayyid. Gift him. And this could be also done in the plural sense. You could say habu, gift, all of you. You should all give a gift. Habu kullukum. Habu, all of you give a gift. Okay, let's look now today at al-mu'tal al-ain, which is called al-ajwaf. Can anyone think of a fi'l which is mu'tal al-ain?
Amara.
Amara.
Oh, no, sorry.
Amara is mahmuz al-fa. Sounds like mahmuz al-fa. You said amara like this, amara. So that has got a hamza in it. So that's not mu'tal, because there's no harf al-illa. This letter, the first one is hamza, is not the alif, which is the harf al-illa, yeah? So this is mahmuz al-fa. So we don't want that as our example, okay, Khimran? And I want a harf al-illa, which is in the middle of the thing, which is ajwaf.
قال.
قال. أحسنتم. قال. That's a good example, because the fa of the kalima is qaf. The ain of the kalima is the alif, that's harf illa. The lam of the kalima is lam. Okay, so qala, which is on the pattern of fa'ala. Yeah, fa'ala, that's the pattern. The qaf has a fatha. The alif, that hamza, that alif there, you can't take a fatha. So we have no choice. It's just we're using it for the pronunciation. Ka, and then the lam has a fatha. Qala. It's on the pattern of fa'ala. So we need the mudari', which is the pattern of yaf'alu. Yaf'alu. So we will say,
يقول.
well, if we just follow the same pattern, the original pattern, it would have been yaqwalu.
واو.
Yeah. That's the original verb. The original fi'l mudari' of qala is qala yaqwalu, fa'ala yaf'alu. And as you can clearly tell, it's not easy to pronounce it. So the people who own the language, they can do what they want. It's their language. Yeah. So they said, well, we're going to make this into a dhamma and make this into a sukoon, and we're going to say yaqulu, yaqulu, qala, yaqulu. It's got dhamma on it because every fi'l mudari starts with a dhamma. That's the asl. جيد. So now you know how to formulate fi'l mudari from fi'l mu'tal al-ayn, which is al-ajwaf. Okay. Fi'l amr should be originally should be if'al. If'al. That's how it usually is, because that in the normal circumstances the ya of the fi'l mudari comes off. Then you have this first letter, this fa, with a sukoon on it, which is problematic. So you need this hamza, this alif at the beginning to get it moving. If'al, and this goes with a sukoon. Well, if you look at our example now, we take away the harf al-mudari and you put a sukoon on the end. And what can you see that's happened? What can you see that's strange?
It's still the same pattern.
Okay, but in actual fact, what I was indicating, was what I was hoping someone might say, is that it's got sukoon followed by sukoon. And that's not possible to read. Okay, gul. So what they did, they said, well, we can't have this sukoon with a sukoon, and this is a harf, this is weak anyway. So let's get rid of it, and we are left with qul. And qul, this is fi'l amr from qala yaqulu. Hence, you hear in the Quran Allah Ta'ala saying, قل هو الله أحد. قل يا أيها الكافرون. Say. In the translation, you found it that it says, say. Say, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When they ask you about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they asked you about him. قل, say, هو الله أحد. الله الصمد. لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. Say, he is Allah the One, to whom all of the creation turn to, are in need and are attracted to, are in need of. Neither did he give birth, neither was he given birth to, and there is none like unto him. So this is Qul. Jayyid. And that same pattern you're going to find with the rest of al-fi'l al-amr in the ajwaf verbs. Quick discussion with mahmuz. Let's look at the mahmuz. Okay. Ja'a. Ja'a. Ja'a is actually mu'tal al-ain. It's also got a hamza on at the end of it. Yaji'u. Ja'a. Yaji'u. Okay. I want to focus just now on Ja'a. In actual fact, I need to go back to Qala because I forgot to speak about this very important issue here. What happens if you want to attach a dhamir to Qala? For example, I said, Dhahaba, you will say ذهبت. ذهب, you will say ذهبت. So قال, you want to basically follow the same pattern. ذهبت. قالت. You want to say قالت. But you can't because that's not helping. You got a sukoon on the lam, a sukoon on the alif, sukoon on the lam. So what
Is
they
it
are
قلت?
exactly. So that alif goes away and a dhamma appears at the beginning, and then they say قلت, as occurs in the Quran. In which ayah, Ilyas? In Surah Nuh. وَقُلْتُ اسْتَغْفِرُوا رَبَّكُمْ إِنَّهُ كَانَ غَفَّارًا. صحيح?
No.
وَقُلْتُ, I said to my people. قُلْتُ. جيد? So this is how you get the dhamir attached to the fi'l madi. But when it comes to the verb ja'a, which is also ajwaf, but it's got the hamza at the end of it, there's a slight difference. You want to say dhahabtu, you can't say ja'tu, ja'tu, dhahabtu. You can't say it. So what happens is they get rid of this alif, and then rather than saying ja'tu, they say ji'tu, and it's written in a connecting way. Ji'tu, and basically it means I came. Ja'a means he came. Yaji'u, he is coming from a place. Ji'tu means I came from. Ji'ta, ji'ti. You can quite simply add the when it comes to the mu'annath form, it's easy to add the ta'nith to it. And you will be able to say ja'at. And the same goes for qala. You say qalat. Easily you can say because it doesn't disturb anything. There's no sukoons next to each other. So it can just be simply added. Okay, that's basically some background with some of the important aspects of Dars as-Sabi' wal Ishrun. Let's go and try to get a small aspect of this Dars from the text and see how much of it we can read, inshallah. So here we need a couple of readers, or let's say 3 to begin with. Okay, Al-Mudarris, I need someone to read Al-Mudarris, someone to read Khalid, and someone to read Adnan. Jayid. So we've got Ilyas, Abu Maymoon, and Abu Hassan. They're the first 3 to put their hands up. Jazakumullahu khairan. Increase them upon enthusiasm and khair. As Allah Ta'ala says in the Quran, Sabiqu ila maghfirati min rabbikum. Race towards forgiveness from your Lord. Wa jannatin. And racing towards good deeds. Reading in order to, inshallah, bi'idhnillah, it's a good deed with the right intention. Your purpose is to learn, to improve your learning. This is talabul ilm. No.
So which one first?
Afwan Nomer just asked, so not writing Hamza in the connecting form in Jitu. So Nomer, that is a good question. There's actually a whole book, small book though it may be, a whole subject which deals with how to write the Hamza when it is in the beginning of a word. Do you write it on an alif, waw, or ya? When do you write it on any of those 3 things, or just leave it floating, or leave it on this small kursi that you can find in this word here, jitu? Yeah, there's a lot of rules connected to it. There is some depth, which we're not going to be able to go into at this stage. So yeah, so let's have Abu Hassan, he put his hand up first. He can read Al Mudarrisu. Abu Maim put his hand up second. He can read Khalid. And Ilyas, you put your hand up next. You can read Adnan, inshallah. تفضل أبو حسن.
نعم. المدرس متى جئت من جدة يا خالد؟
خالد جئت أمسي.
المدرس. أبو حسن.
أجاء إبراهيم معك؟
Here's a question. أجاء. That's that alif there is للاستفهام. عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. This is للاستفهام. Then you have جاء. Here you have جئت. من. أنا جئت. جئت. من. أنت جئت. طيب. He said جئت him yesterday. The said, did Ibrahim come with you? Khalid says
لا لم يجئ بعد.
nice.
سيجي.
لا not
سيجي اليوم. سيجي يوم أو غدا إن شاء الله.
أحسنت. بارك الله فيك. This one here, it'll be, let's work on the pronunciation. سيجيء اليوم.
سيجيء اليوم.
بارك الله فيك. سيجيء اليوم أو غدا إن شاء الله.
أو غدا.
سيجيء اليوم. Say that please.
Okay. سيجيء اليوم أو غدا إن شاء الله.
أحسنت. بارك الله فيك. Just give me a second there, brothers. Over here, he said lam. And lam, what does lam do to the verb that comes after it?
Makes it مجزوم.
Makes it majzoom. And we already said in that previous screen that our fi'l is ja'a
يجيء.
yaji'u. And when you got this lam, which comes before it, and you want to make it majzoom, then now this dhamma at the end became sukoon. And the ya is already sukoon. So now what do you have? Which is a problem?
يجي.
You have two sukoons next to each other. One on the ya and one on the hamza. So what do the Arabs love doing? Take out the letter which is least in need. So then the result is yaji, as you can see over here.
Okay.
Yaji. And don't be confused with this ya looking shape at the end, because that is just considered to be the this ties into Numair's question, writing the hamza, where to write it. This is the appropriate let's say appropriate placement mat for the hamza, the appropriate station or something for the hamza to sit on, or the kursi. Okay, why is it appropriate for the hamza? Because there was a kasra that came before it. Because there was a kasra that came before it, so the ya shape remained, not because there was a ya there that we took away, but because there was a kasra before this letter. Okay, so we said lam yaji. We only have three letters there. We have the harf al-mudari', which is the ya. We have the fa al-kalima, which is the jim. And we have the lam al-kalima, which is the hamza. And what's missing? We only have the fa of the kalima and the lam of the kalima. Exactly.
طيب.
Ayn al-kalima. The ayn al-kalima is missing. Why is it missing? We took it away because to avoid two sukoons sitting next to each other. Okay? We have a sukoon at the end because of lam. Hence you said lam yaji. Lam yaji. And ba'du, I have a feeling we covered this in a previous lesson, though we may not have spoken about it in detail. Lam yaji ba'du means he hasn't come yet. Ba'du in this situation means yet. He hasn't come yet. Then he said, sayaji'u. He will come today or tomorrow, inshallah. طيب. Al-Mudarris says,
Az azurta as-safira.
Barakallahu feek. Look at this word here, please, brothers, sisters as well. Azurta. Azurta. Can someone give me a breakdown of this word? You got 4 letters. Can someone give me a breakdown?
The Hamza is Hamzatul Istifham.
أيوة. وبعدين وبعد ذلك
That is Fa'ul Kalima.
أحسنت وبارك الله. So you have here, you have the Hamza, the Alif, which is the Hamza del Istifham. That's part of the question, so forget that. Then you have Zara is your verb. Okay? And now, but he wanted to say, like Dhahaba, Dhahabtu, Zara, Zartu. And he can't say it because sukoon followed by a sukoon. In order to add this ta, this damir at the end, you have to put a sukoon on the ra. And by putting a sukoon on the ra, you have a problem, which is these two sukoons coming together. Why is this not showing up? There you go. Because these two sukoons coming together. So what happens is, get rid of the alif. What just happened? Get rid of the alif. And then you have the zai, the ra, and the ta left. And zartu becomes zurtu. Or in this case, zurta. He said, azurta safira. What does that mean? Azurta safira.
Did you visit the minister?
Did you visit the Safir? Safir,
Ambassador.
yeah, Safir. So Ilyas, minister is wazir, and Safir is somebody who is representing his country in another country. That's known as ambassador. This is the ambassador, okay? And that's why you have embassies. An embassy in a country is a representative of their country in another land. You see, and that's the embassy, and the person who is head of the embassy is the ambassador, and that's the safir. All right. Again, the embassy is called sifara. The sifara, maybe sifara or safara. I'm not sure. With a fatha on the sin or kasra. Safara.
Sifara is normally using so.
Yeah, kasra. جيد. جزاك الله خيرا. طيب تفضل أخي. Then Khalid says.
ذهبت إلى مكتبه
أيوه.
ذهبت إلى مكتبه ولم يجده سمعت. Said something wrong.
لم أجده.
أجده ولم أجده سمعت أنه لم يكن في جدتي ذلك اليوم.
بارك الله فيك. في جدة is like Makkah, it's ممنوع من الصرف. So with fi, and Judda is one of the names of Jeddah. You can call it Judda, call it Jeddah, call it Jeddah. All these three are allowed. Okay? Because of harful jar, this ممنوع من الصرف, what are you going to have over here? فتحسي في جدة. ذاك اليوم. ذاك is another version of ذلك, maybe a bit closer. Okay? Here we have some interesting points. The first interesting point is saying lam ajidhu. Second one, lam yakun. Lam yakun. Okay. Just give me a second, because I have an important phone call coming through. If you don't mind, it's from work. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi. Afwan. That was, we have an important project going on at the moment, so I had to take that call. طيب, lam ajidhu and lam yakun. These are two new formations, and ajidhu comes from, we should recognize this one because we had it in Dars al-Sadis wal-Ashrun. Can someone explain it?
أجده ويجده.
Yeah, so it's from wajada,
وجد يجد.
wajada yajidu. Yeah, so yajidu. And lam ajid, lam ajid. So alif, this is a hamza, this hamza is harf al-mudari'. Yeah, this one here is harf al-mudari'. Ajid, ajid, and this is got sukoon on it. But how about this one here? Lam yakun. This comes from the fi'l. What is it?
Kana.
Kana. And this is ajwaf. This is mu'tal al-ain. Kana yakunu. Okay. When he said lam, that's going to put a sukoon on the noon. And there's already a sukoon on the waw. So now we have two sukoons next to each other. So what happened? The waw got dropped, and what's left? Yakun. Yeah? And that's why you find in Surah Al-Ikhlas, قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ اللَّهُ الصَّمَدُ لَمْ يَلِدْ لَمْ يَلِدْ وَلَدَ يَلِدُ لَمْ يَلِدْ وَلَمْ يُولَدْ وَلَمْ يَكُنْ وَلَمْ يَكُنْ وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. So these are all words that you are reading in the Quran regularly, and here are the rules showing you how it's working. Barakallahu feekum. That's the adhan. But we have to allow Luqman to read one line, otherwise it might break his heart. No, Luqman, you're stronger than that, right? No, no, Luqman, I meant to say Ilyas. Okay, Al-Mudarris says, Al-Mudarris, come back, Al-Mudarris.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm here, Ustad. I thought you were going to give chance to Ilyas.
No, but you Al-Mudarris, he's Adnan.
Okay, naam. Jazakallah khair. Al-Mudarris. يا أدنان إنك غبت أسبوعين فأين كنت؟
Oh, mashallah, this is so nice. Look at this. غبت. What's this word?
يا غائب غاب يا غاب
غاب يغيب.
غب
غاب, which means to disappear, to be absent.
Yeah.
يغيب. غاب يغيب. And this is where the word ghiba, everyone knows this word ghiba, it comes from. Speaking about someone in their absence. Al-ghiba. So he said ghaba. And then he wanted to add the dhamir at the end of it. To do that, you have to put a sukoon on the ba. You already have a sukoon on the alif. So the alif gets removed. The alif gets removed, and you have ghain, ba, and ta left, and it becomes ghibtu, which means, or ghibta, you were absent for 2 weeks. Aina, look at this word. Can someone describe it, explain it?
كان يكون
كان
Kana yakunu. And he added the ta at the end.
ضمير
Used to be like this. Kan ta. But this creates 2 sukoons on the alif and on the noon. So then the alif gets removed. Sorry, I know it's getting a bit clustered over here. Alif goes, and then you have kaf, noon, and ta left. And it's kunta. And the easiest pronunciation of the word is sought. And as Ibn al-Ajurrum said, the Arabic language is that which the Arabs themselves placed as language. So it's not for us to say, no, I prefer to say kinta, or I prefer to say kanta, or something like this. No. It's kunta because that's how they said it. Jayyid. Adnan said, finally, Ilyas, are you reading Adnan for us?
نعم. شميت. كنت في المستشفى. كنت مريضا جدا. والله لقد كدت أموت.
SubhanAllah. That there needs a long explanation. But we have, where are our examples in this sentence? How many can you see? الفعل الأجوف معتل العين.
كدت.
Afwan, where is it?
4. I can see 4 of them.
I didn't get you guys.
أموت.
Aywa. One of it is this one here. Kittu. And where's that coming from?
كاد يكاد.
Kada. He was about to. Kada yakadu. He was about to.
أن أموت.
Amutu. From mata. Yamutu. جيد أحسنت بلال. And any more?
لا.
كان يكون.
كنت. كان يكون. Twice. So we have 4 examples in here. 2 of them is kuntu, 1 kittu, and 1 amutu. Brothers, we'll stop there. Bi'idhnillahi ta'ala will continue from this point next lesson, inshallah. And take some more of these rules. Inshallah. Wallahu a'lam wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
وعليكم السلام
السلام.
ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام.
الله خير.